Hi everybody, we're going to get started here. Vanille just made an announcement, but the grid schedule is what we're going off of. So you're here in Ballroom East listening to Régis Behmo give a wonderful presentation. I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks, Serena. So I'm extremely happy to be here. The lineup of the other speakers was really impressive, so thank you very much for being here today. And well, if you got mistaken and choose my talk by mistake, well, too bad. All right, let's get on with it. How far can you go with Open Edx? What problems will you face? How can you keep track with the rapid changes inside Open Edx without you losing your sanity? At Université Numérique, we run one of the largest Open Edx installs. I believe we're somewhere in the top 5 in terms of course enrollments. So with this talk, I want to give you an excuse to come and see us and start a conversation with us. You might need an additional feature that we've already developed, or you might have faced a problem that we have faced as well. Or we might both be working on the same feature, on the same thing. So this talk is going to be a bit of a potpourri. It's going to be a whirlwind tour of what we've done in the past couple of months. I'm going to talk about many different things, both technical and non-technical. In particular, I'd like to talk about how we integrate with the Open Edx stack. I'm also going to talk about some of the features that we've developed and that you might be interested in, especially mainly dashboards. That includes also a couple new X blocks. Finally, I'd like to talk about some of the issues that we've been facing with Open Edx and in some cases, the solutions that we found. Université Numérique, FUN. It's an initiative of the French Higher Education Ministry. So the goal of FUN is to offer courses from the French public universities to the public for free. We also have a commercial offer that includes white label installs of FUN for private companies. We are based on Open Edx, of course. And here are some stats about our platform. So as you can see, it's not as big as edX, but it's already pretty large, especially in terms of the number of courses that we have. You may find us at this address. This is a screenshot of our user dashboard, but it's this user interface is supposed to change in the coming weeks as we're currently undertaking a major rewrite of our front end. Our users come from a bit of everywhere. Of course, unsurprisingly, most of our users come from France. But there's something interesting here, is that we have a rather big part of our users that come from Africa. Of course, it's because of the language. But this is quite unusual for most web platforms. And it's great because it means that we allow universities, French universities, to reach out to students that they could not reach before. Also, this map is not completely up to date. We have had a huge spike in enrollments from South America. That was after we opened the course on French as a foreign language. We also organized a hackathon when we partnered with edX and UnisX. Lots of people attended. The hackathon was run over multiple cities simultaneously, and we saw many great projects. It was a lot of fun. Fun? Okay, never mind. No, thanks. Seriously, it was great. So you're going to hear about this hackathon again in another presentation later this afternoon, so I'm not going to give any spoiler now. We are open source developers, just like edX. So most of our work is open source, well, almost everything. It's not a very common practice in the French public sector, but we're committed to publishing all non-confidential data. It means that everything that I'm going to present here is available for free in our GitHub repositories. And we have the Open Fun GitHub handle, which is pretty cool. So if you're running a separate Open Edx instance, please feel free to come and reuse and rewrite our code. We have a tiny technical team, but we've already made a couple contributions. So perhaps you've seen our GitHub handles in a code review. So why am I talking about this? Because I want to emphasize in this talk how a small technical team can work with the Open Edx stack and extend it. My bottom line is this: Open Edx is a great piece of software, seriously, and well, even if it does not have some of the features that you need, then you can develop them yourself. Let me tell you a little how we work with Open Edx. At first, when we designed Fun, we came to the conclusion that Open Edx was the right platform for us. We wanted to use it, but that our technical requirements were too specific. We needed extra features, customized templates, branding, additional translations, and whatnot. We also had a very strict and ambitious release deadline, and we had to move very quickly. So we decided to fork edx-platform. I guess many of you see where I'm going here. We added features to the platform. By we, I mean all four of us, the technical team. So this is us. And this is edx. With about 50 developers, yeah. And this represents the Open Edx community. So pretty soon we realized that these guys in the middle and these guys on the right, well, they were doing some great work, and it might be a good idea to use their work. So basically we needed upstream developments pretty badly. That's when we came to the conclusion that our forking model was probably a terrible idea. The point I'm trying to bring home is the following. There are multiple ways to extend Open Edx without having a permanent fork. So, as you perhaps figured by now, we finally decided to adopt the following forking model. That being said, we also realized that staying close to the edx-platform master branch required a lot of work. Here you can see our edx-platform repo on GitHub. We're just 10 commits ahead of the Birch release. Some of them have already been merged upstream, but we're still lagging behind the Cypress release, which happened almost 2 months ago. We've been working on 2 major projects this summer, so this is why we haven't managed to find the time to integrate our changes with the latest Open Edx release, which is unfortunate. Well, if you came to this talk by reading the abstract saying how we managed to stay very close to the master branch, well, you might be a bit disappointed by now. Well, I hope we'll make up for it in the next slides. Let's talk about how we integrate with Open Edx. There are many different ways to add external code to Open Edx, but the trick we use is a bit unconventional, as you're going to see. Now, as I mentioned, most of the Open Edx patches end up in pull requests, and here are our contributions to edx-platform. Note here, we also contributed to Aura 2, but what you see here is that there's no fun-related code in there. So we put everything in a separate, dedicated code repository. So let's talk about how we combine the fun code and the Open Edx code. It's actually pretty simple. In a nutshell, what we do is that we replace the manage py command by the fun command. This command modifies the Python path, which allows us to import modules from the fun apps folder. Sorry, this is a bit too technical. The bottom line for the non-developers is that it's very easy to extend Open Edx and benefit from upstream developments at the same time. Generally speaking, we have multiple ways to patch edx code, ranked here from easiest on the left to hardest on the right. So adding or modifying a setting is very easy. It's a left column. All we have to do is modify our own settings. Whenever we need to patch edx code, we have to patch the edx platform, and we have to maintain that patch which is of medium difficulty. But the thing that we like less is to patch a dependency of edx, because then we have to patch both the dependency, the requirements file, and we have to keep track of those two patches. So this is difficult. This is a bit abstract, so if you want to try out Fun, then you can start your own Fun platform by checking out the Fun boxes repository, and we provide already provisioned Vagrant images. Let's get to the heart of the subject. So I'd like to talk about the additional features that we have developed at Fun. We have developed four additional apps that are basically dashboards. One of the first app that we developed was to the benefit of our support team. Our support team interacts with course staff and learners, and so they have to do a lot of administration work. As you know, there's the Django admin pages, but that was not very convenient. It didn't have most of the features that the support team needed, so we had to extend it. So we created a new app which we called the back office. So this is a screenshot of the back office. It's kind of basic. We list the courses with the number of subscriptions here, the start and end dates, and basic stats. And there's also a tiny search engine here, very basic. For each course, you can access some additional data. We have tools to generate certificates, to download open assessment files. And this big red button here is a delete course button, this is actually a feature, because I believe there is no delete course feature in edX. There is? Well, we got there first. This is for the support team. But what we also needed was a way for the course staff to monitor their course. And we found it difficult to extend the existing courseware. And we thought it would be easier just to create our own app from scratch. So that's when we created the course dashboard. It's not a very appropriate name. I guess we could have called it the teacher back office. But yeah. And this course dashboard will display, again, basic stats. So evolution over time of course enrollments. Also some geographical stats. The most popular country, second most popular, etc. Here you can see there are tabs for wiki and forum activity. And here we have a more advanced panel of the course dashboard. Here the teaching staff can visualize the result of multiple answer questions. And this is very useful for teachers, because they want to understand how students are doing and what they fail to understand about the course. Now, many of you perhaps think that, well, this already exists in edX Insights. Before we developed that, we got interested in edX Insight. The problem that we faced was that edX Insight was extremely hard to install and maintain. In particular, it's hosted on Amazon Web Services. As we will see later, we do not rely on AWS for hosting. So we decided we didn't need all the features from edX Insights. We needed something simple. And so what you see here, it's there's no moving part. It just relies on SQL and MongoDB. And it's the stats are generated in real time. So it's slow, but it's simple to install. It was a compromise. The next step I want to talk about is for managing our videos. So again, there's a part of edX that we do not rely upon. We do not upload our videos to YouTube. We have our own video providers. We have multiple video providers. So we needed a way to interact with them via a dashboard. We didn't want the teachers to log in to an external app, upload their videos, and then import somehow in the course. So we developed this video upload manager, which kind of looks like the video upload manager of the studio. So here you can see a demo of the dashboard. there's this big red button which allows you to upload videos. You can change the title. Once a video has been uploaded, there's a video ID that can be inserted in a custom X block. And there's also a panel to manage subtitles. And we have many of them in our courses. So yeah. The last dashboard I want to talk about, I'm just going to mention this. It's a Cabana dashboard where we store our tracking stats from our tracking logs. I'm not going to talk too much about this because, again, there's going to be a separate talk, not by Fun, but by someone else. I noticed that in the program. Just wanted to mention that we upload user data that has been anonymized. So people who access this dashboard have no information whatsoever about the name and the user IDs of the logs that they see. So if you like what you see, you can just download the log/configuration file, which is available in this repository. Xblocks. So among the publicly available features that we've developed, we have a couple of Xblocks. As you may know, Xblocks are the building blocks of a course. I want to talk about a couple of them that we have developed. The first one, it was a quite popular demand. It's called graded external assignments. It's whenever, well, an external assignment is an assignment that has been given outside of Open Edx. So we needed a way to import grades from these external assignments into the course. So it's quite simple in appearance. There's a browse button that allows the course staff to upload an Excel file that has been properly formatted, I believe edX has developed something that is similar, but the implementation might be quite different, I believe. The next Xblock I'd like to talk about is the password-protected time-limited container. This is mainly for proctoring. Proctoring is when you want to have students take exams in a room, and you want to give them access to a certain activity within a certain time frame for only a limited time, and access must be protected by a password. So once you configure your password-protected time-limited container, you can add whichever activities you want inside it, and students will require the password to access the activities within the given time frame. We also developed our own video player. Well, at Fun we believe that video is the core part of the experience of learning, so we wanted to get it right. So we chose to use the Video.js player, and we added a couple new features. So here we have a screenshot of our video player. As you can see, let me get where's my mouse? Here. Okay, so we have multiple resolutions, subtitles of course. We added adjustable playback rate. It's possible to download the video. And here, this thing on the right hand side, it's what we call the transcript. It's simple, it's extracted from the subtitles, and it scrolls down as the video moves forward. And it's possible to click the sentences here and move forward and backward in the video. So it's very convenient for skimming through a video or for searching inside a video. Issues. You knew this was coming, so I've talked about some of the things that we have developed at Fun. Now let's talk about the issues that we have faced. This is our infrastructure. So working for the public sector comes with its own set of constraints. So for instance, user privacy, it's a very sensitive subject. So for that reason, we try to privilege European partners, even for technical choices. That means, as I mentioned, we don't store our videos on YouTube. We don't use Google Analytics yet, and we don't rely on Amazon Web Services. So actually, our entire infrastructure is based on bare metal servers that are managed by a partner from the public sector. So here you see this generates VMs. We have our own load balancers. The client interacts with a separate video provider. We have our own SMTP server, etc., etc. So, what issues do we have with self-hosting? The problem is that some Open Edx features have explicit dependencies to AWS. My feeling is that there are fewer hard-coded dependencies to AWS than there used to be. Still, I'd like here to suggest an approach for dealing with explicit infrastructure dependencies. So, sorry, again, this is going to be very technical. Sorry about that. So imagine you have to generate an upload URL, and you want to send it to your user, for instance, for uploading a file. Now, if you work at edX, then you're probably going to want to store this file in S3. And you're probably going to write the get upload URL function like that. Now, when we at Fun see this, and when other platforms that don't rely on AWS see this, well, our own choice in order to use this feature is to patch the code and modify the connect to S3 line. And this is a pain, as I mentioned. So I would like here to suggest an approach. It's simply to define a setting that defines a backend, and using this approach, all we have to do is to write the backend class that exposes a generate URL method, and then we just need to override the setting, which is very easy, as I mentioned, and we can then store files wherever we want. So it is this approach that we use in this PR to Aura 2 for the storage of file uploads to backends other than S3 in Open Assessment in the Open Assessment app. Let me tell you about another issue that we face. So, as you may know or may not know, every course has advanced properties. They are extremely convenient. In particular when we need to add advanced modules here. It's what happens when you click to the add advanced component in the studio. But to the best of our knowledge, there's no way to add anything to this list. So we would like to have an advanced properties, the dictionary. Currently what we do is that we have an external model that links to the course in SQL, and we add our custom properties there. But it's not very convenient. It's not exported and imported. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Now you might be asking, okay, edX is open source. Why don't you just write the code? And I agree. And we should definitely do it. It's just that, as I mentioned. So yeah, we're going to do it. Now let's talk about microsites. This is the last part of my talk. So as I mentioned, Fun is offered to our partners as a white label instance. There are essentially two ways to do that. The first is a completely separate infrastructure for each customer. And the other way to do it is to have microsites. Microsites look great because they are simple. They are a simple way to talk to multiple customers, but they have some issues. First, the studio has no information whatsoever about microsites. So there's no way to send the user from the studio to the LMS. Also, any course creator can add a course to a different microsite just by using a different organization ID. So it's unlikely to happen, but it could happen. Finally, any user that subscribes to a microsite can also log in to a different microsite, and this is an issue. I don't have any simple answer to this. I just like to talk. I just wanted to talk about this to hear what you guys have been thinking about it and what edX is thinking, in which direction you're thinking of going for Microsites. All right, I'm almost done. Let's talk about the future. As I mentioned, we're in the process of rewriting our front-end completely. This is what our front-end is going to look like after we deploy next week, hopefully, or in a couple of weeks. As you can see, we have a course filtering feature. We also intend to plug in a course search feature. The hackathon is going to take place on Wednesday. I hope you guys will be there. I'd like to pitch my idea for the hackathon, if it's okay. I'd like to develop a recommended courses for you section in the user dashboard. So basically, the idea would be to recommend new courses to subscribe to. So pretty much like the recommended for you feature in Amazon. All right, almost there. I just wanted to mention that there are 3 of us here at the conference. Please feel free to get in touch with either Julien, Laurent, or myself. Whatever you'd like to discuss. Please don't be shy. That's it. Thank you. So, if you have any questions.
What is the difference between SGA and GI?
SGA?
This is what he was talking about earlier. They are, I think, implementing similar features, but they were...
Well, so I believe our implementation of external assignments is quite different from the one by edX. Perhaps I can ask Julien to answer that. He's the one who would actually develop the thing. So the question is, what is the difference between our implementation of external assignments and the edX implementation? MIT's, okay.
So it's kind of different because, in fact, in SGA, X block, student has to upload a file and then get credit on this file. But in Fun, we just do external activity, not and we create it, and then we just have to create this activity through the X block. So we don't be
And where comments go to?
on the lens port.
Yes.
So the student goes to view, they just see the comments there.
And it's not use comments, right?
No.
Okay, so just for teachers.
Yeah, no, it's for students. Right.
The difference is the interactivity. So at MIT staff graded assignments, the student interacts with the block to submit their assignment, and the instructor has to go to a view, download the student's assignment, and assign the grade all within edX. Whereas this, my understanding here is you take an exam in paper on, in person or something, then the instructor has the grades in the spreadsheet, and they do one upload to this X block, and then those grades are reflected. Students can see their grades. But there's been no interaction by the student within the Open Edx platform.
Okay.
Did you switch from being full-time work to your current model midstream, or was that first?
Okay, so the question is about how we migrated from our first forking model to the next. It was a long story. Because many features had been added, edX had been patched. The team that had released the first platform was not there anymore. So it was a big project. Yeah. Perhaps another one? Yeah?
Well, why did you do the one with it looks better, but it has the same features?
We need to, well, I'm not completely familiar with the edX player, but as I understand, I'm not sure it's possible to plug it to external video sources.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Well, so this transcript thing on the right is also available? Okay.
I want to say that reality that we can't, well, we have chosen the path. We can keep of developing our own module at the time where, in fact, the main reason, it's connected to the question before, the main reason why we forked edx at some point was mainly because of the video player. Because at the time, we wanted to use Dailymotion, and we wanted to have different providers. And at this time, there was no way of doing it without modifying the core code and things like this. At the time, we have, there is also an idea of being our own kind of master on the way we use the video player. There will be more added feature later on. So it's not just a copy just to get the copy, but it's the fact that we wanted to use our own provider. Want to make sure that we are in control of that, because it's very important for us. It's very important to control that.
Because we were ahead of us, I mean, essentially.
That's-
So,
right,
we were
yeah.
ahead of us.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we're a little over time now, so
I'm available after the talk.